The biggest storm system of 2025 is on our doorstep with significant severe weather, flash flooding rains, and a blizzard in parts of the United States. We're going to walk step by step through this information as you can get the most accurate weather information here on my channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, give it a thumbs up, especially if you found it informative, and please share this video with friends, family, and on social media, especially because severe weather is in the picture. We're going to give you a detailed diagnosis on the severe weather in this video. So let's look first at our temperature anomalies heading into the new week here. This is Monday, March 3rd. Notice we're seeing warmer than normal conditions across the heartland of the country. Now that will continue as we go into tomorrow on Tuesday, March 4th and Wednesday, March 5th, especially across the east. But notice the colder blue and the green anomalies coming in. Those are below normal temperatures, and that'll be ushering in on the back side of our storm as we go into late this week before temperatures begin to rebound just a little bit this weekend. Now, this is our significant storm. It's making headway into the Four Corners region as we go into today. It's going to eject as a negatively tilted trough by Tuesday evening into Wednesday into the Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Ohio Valley. And usually with a negatively tilted trough, that's where you see the most significant weather, whether that's a blizzard because we're still in early March, or a significant severe weather outbreak, or even flash flooding rains. So let's help you understand what we are seeing. We have 3 days of severe weather. We have an enhanced risk today from Oklahoma down into Texas. We have an enhanced risk from southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas through southern Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama on Tuesday, and then a slight risk in the yellow here from the Delmarva down through the Carolinas and eastern Georgia on Wednesday. So we are watching for 3 days of significant severe weather. Let's start with today's, okay? We have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather from south central Oklahoma. This does include the Oklahoma City metro, Lawton, Fort Sill, all the way down into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have that slight risk extending up toward Wichita there in Kansas, and as far south here as central Texas, with that marginal even extending up there into northeastern Kansas. Here are the risks. As the storms initially start to develop, we'll see some hail becoming the biggest threat as those storms are going to be feeding off that dry line. We're going to have a lot of instability here to tap into. So quarter-size hailstones or larger will be the potential with those storms as they initially start to form. Then, as those storms tap into the low-level environment with a lot of wind shear near the surface, we could be seeing some significant tornadoes. There is a 10% area here of tornado potential from Oklahoma City south to Lawton, Fort Sill, and across into northwest Texas there. So we're keeping an eye on that. And then also a 30% chance of those 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts as we go into this evening. So let's look here at the diagnosis of the setup, okay? We're seeing 60-degree dew points all the way up there. As far north as Wichita, Kansas, we have a very sharp dry line. We're going to go from 60-degree dew points in the Oklahoma City metro to Amarillo of literally an 8-degree dew point. So that is very significant dry line, and that is going to create a lot of lift. We're going to have a lot of storm energy around. You see these greens and yellows on here. That's 2,000 joules per kilogram. That's plenty of instability. And then we look at our low-level jet for the potential of tornadoes. This afternoon, already a moderate low-level jet over 40 knots. Then as we go into this evening, we're going to see that low-level jet, as it naturally does after the sun sets, increases. It's going to go over 60 knots, and then we're going to see that increase even more toward midnight over to around 70 knots. That is a very strong low-level jet that will create the spin in the atmosphere in the low levels to produce the potential for tornadoes. Here's what we call the significant tornado parameter, and this is basically putting the wind shear, the instability, and all of that into one parameter space and giving you a number. And the higher the number, the better the chance for a strong tornado. Notice here this afternoon, it's already at a 4 in parts of southern Oklahoma and northern portions of Texas. That is 4 out of 10. And then as we go here into the evening hours, notice how that number jumps and almost doubles here to 21 out of 10 there in western Oklahoma. Elk City down there toward Lawton, Fort Sill, and even into Wichita Falls there in northwest Texas. And that number continues to remain high as those storms cross there into Oklahoma City as well overnight tonight, still at a 14 out of 10. So now let's look at what the radar could look like. As we go into the afternoon, warm air advection, we were probably seeing some cumulus start to build across portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and we're starting to pull in some of that moisture. We won't see initiation until late this evening here, and that'll be across south central Kansas and far northwestern portions of Oklahoma first, and then we're going to start to see that line begin to develop a little bit further south there into northwest Texas as we go after midnight. So initiation 11 p.m. to around 2 o'clock in the morning, and once these storms get going, they're initially going to produce the large hail that we talked about, and then the potential for strong tornadoes and even some 70-80 mile per hour winds as they cross through portions of Oklahoma there as a big line of storms. By the time we get to the daybreak of Tuesday, Tulsa, all the way down into southeastern Oklahoma, east side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area near I-35 and on east toward Tyler, Texas, Texarkana, we're going to see a big squall line, and this could create a lot of some dangerous weather for your morning commute there on Tuesday. Now let's go over to Tuesday, March 4th. We have a large enhanced risk area of severe weather with the extension of that line back there in southeastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas that will continue to move east-southeast through the day. By the way, yes, we do have a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 in the dark green and level 2 out of 5 in the yellow here for severe weather. That extends all the way to Kansas City, St. Louis, Paducah, Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Atlanta, and even as far east there as Tallahassee as we go through the day on Tuesday. We are seeing the potential for strong tornadoes, a 10% and a 10% hatched risk area here, especially in southern Arkansas, northeastern and eastern Louisiana, much of south central Mississippi, southwestern Alabama. That's where we could have those EF2 to EF5 strength tornadoes as we go into tomorrow. And then we have the potential for hurricane force winds in those same areas, 70, 80, maybe even 90 miles per hour, and the hail threat is not as high because the instability is not high, but we have a lot of wind shear. So winds and tornadoes will be the biggest threat as we go into Tuesday. Notice the trough. It's already taking a negative tilt there Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening as it pushes toward the Midwest, rounding the base of that trough. A very energetic jet streak that's over 125 knots. And looking here at the low-level jet, this is 1 kilometer above our heads, and we're seeing that over 80 knots, folks. This is very strong as we go into Tuesday afternoon and evening. And then notice here in our surface winds coming in here as well, pretty strong at the surface, gusting over 30 miles an hour. So you have the mid-level jet coming in out of the southwest, you have the low-level jet coming straight from the south to the north, and surface winds from southeast to northwest. That's a lot of turning of the winds, curvature with height, and that could produce some strong tornadoes tomorrow. So here we go. This is Tuesday, daybreak, 6 o'clock in the morning from eastern Kansas into eastern Oklahoma, down toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A powerful line of storms with damaging winds, widespread here, 60 to 80 miles an hour, and potential for hail and a few embedded tornadoes. Already out the gate there Tuesday morning. Then as we go into the mid-morning hours, that pushes into Missouri. Stronger storms will have a tendency to push further south into Arkansas and Louisiana. And then as we go into Tuesday afternoon, just kind of a messy mode of a line of storms. Could have some semi-discrete supercells out ahead of the main line there, especially down here toward New Orleans, Baton Rouge, maybe Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, and Laurel. Those areas will have a tendency to produce potentially some strong tornadoes in the afternoon. And then that line will push east through Alabama and Middle Tennessee Tuesday evening. So this will be moving quickly to the east. Then that leads us into Wednesday. This is a day 3, slight risk of severe weather in the yellow, day 3, marginal risk in the dark green. That extends all the way there to Lake Erie and as far south as central Florida. Now, looking here at Wednesday morning, storms will be more, scattered. We'll see them a little bit stronger down there towards Georgia and North Florida. And then they'll push a little bit further east on Wednesday afternoon and develop across portions of the mid-Atlantic seaboard there down toward the Carolinas with winds, hail, and a few tornadoes possible. Now we have to look at the scope of this storm. It's not just the severe weather. We are actually looking at some flash flooding rains with this storm up into the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley. And yes, there's some saturated soils here. We've been talking about the bluegrass state of Kentucky a lot of saturated soils here from our most recent devastating flooding we've had. And if that's not enough, we have a blizzard on the backside with, yes, heavy snow. The UP of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and parts of Missouri as we go into Wednesday, and that could drop a few inches of snow. So diagnosing the rainfall threat, we are looking at the potential of 1 to 3 inches there of rain across the Great Lakes, including Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, back there toward Kansas City and Missouri. Now we are going to see the potential of flash flooding, but also heavy snow on the backside. This is a deformation snow band. This is Wednesday morning commute for Des Moines, Omaha, Wichita, Twin Cities, La Crosse, all the way up to Rhinelander, Wisconsin. We are actually seeing 1 inch to maybe even 2 inch per hour snow rates here, and that is coupled with wind gusts out of the north over 40, perhaps approaching 50 miles an hour during your Wednesday morning commute, and that will drop visibility well under a mile, possibly to near zero in some areas here in Wisconsin, especially closer to that low pressure storm track, but also into southeastern Minnesota, into Iowa, northern Missouri, and then wrapping around into northwestern Illinois there on Wednesday. Snowfall amounts, while it is early March, the sun angle is a little bit higher. We aren't going to see some readily accumulating snow, like we're not going to get 2 feet, but we are seeing a few inches of snow there as we go through your Thursday time frame, possibly enough to shovel or snow blow there into northern Wisconsin, especially near Lake Superior and the UP of Michigan, back here into Minnesota, and especially into Iowa. Heading into the weekend, we got some cooler temperatures on the backside of this storm. Whenever you see a powerful storm, you're going to have a little bit of a cool down and a respite from the warmer temps, and that will come this weekend on Saturday, March 8th and Sunday, March 9th. Now, we are going to see a little bit of a storm system as well. Still some disagreements, actually, with the track of this. Looking here at the European model on Saturday into Sunday, a lot of that rainfall sticks down there toward the Gulf Coast states and into the southeast, and that will bring heavier rainfall if the European model is right to North Florida and southern Georgia in particular, and not much snowfall here in the picture. Now, if we look here at the GFS model, a little bit further north, and more of a snowfall component back here toward the Central Plains in Kansas and Oklahoma, same areas that had severe weather, brings a snowstorm through the Ohio River Valley and into the northeast with a big snow event for the I-95 corridor, according to the GFS, that brings the heavier precipitation further north and the potential for heavy snow, including the I-95 corridor. Big disagreement here, so we're going to have to keep you updated as we go through the week and getting closer to the weekend for this storm system's track. It's very key. Going into the second week there of March, we're going to warm up behind that storm system, and we could be seeing near record-breaking highs across the Midwest, places like Des Moines, Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee, even as far north as the Twin Cities as we go into next week, Monday, March 10th through Friday, March 14th. And notice we're going to see that warmer air, that 60, 70-degree line here in the oranges, pushing all the way up into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and into parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Now, that somewhat of the warm-up could be tempered if the GFS model is right in the northeast and bringing our heavy snow. That could keep us a little bit cooler if we have a deeper snowpack. Now let's look here at the trajectory of our trough. We have a trough in the west and we have a ridge in the east. So a ridge is going to bring us warmer temperatures that we see, record-breaking highs possibly that we mentioned, and the trough out west is going to bring us cooler but more active weather, and we have to watch this setup. This could bring a lot of rainfall to much of California, including Southern California here, and then a storm system may evolve a little bit further downstream there into the middle of the country. Look at all the heavy rain there. Western Washington State, Western Oregon, especially northern and central California foothills, but even Southern California, Los Angeles, down here towards San Diego, San Bernardino. These areas could get some very heavy rainfall as we go into next week as well, and some very heavy snow. The Cascades there, the Cascade Mountains in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State and Oregon, the Sierra Mountains in California, and the Rockies out here. Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, even Flagstaff, Arizona could see some pretty heavy snow as we go in towards the next week time frame in the mountain areas there in Arizona. So that's what we're looking at here. That's all the weather I have for you today. Yes, that was a lot of information. Was it vital information? Yes, I hope it did inform you of what is to come over the next few days. If you did find it informative, give a like, give it a thumbs up down below, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. We went into detail with the severe weather, the snow side, and everything you need to know into the middle of March. We'll continue to pump out these videos daily here on the channel. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my detailed, reliable, and accurate weather information here on YouTube. We are less than 400 subscribers from 130,000. You want to help me get there? Make sure to subscribe to the channel. You have any comments, questions, concerns? Jot them down in the comment section below the video. I'll be able to answer each and every question here after the video as well. So that's all I have for you today, folks. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful and safe rest of your Monday out there.